Welcome back to the AC Let's Do It podcast. I'm your host, Dominic Archer, and we're back. It's been a while. We took a little bit of a hiatus, but I'm back. Things have kind of settled down. So moving forward, I think what's going to happen with these podcasts is that instead of having these long, hour-long, kind of multi-topic podcasts, I think I'm going to shorten it down to about 20 to 30 minutes, talk about one thing in depth, and then instead of one podcast a week, maybe release 2 or 3, maybe even once a weekday. So that's the theme moving forward, and we're just going to get right into it. Today's theme is who is my favorite prospect in the 2021 NFL draft. Now, there is not a whole lot of talent coming into this draft as there were last year. You know, we had the 5 infamous quarterbacks. You had Mac Jones, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence. So you had all of these guys, and then you had Jamar Chase, Penei Sewell, but my favorite prospect in the 2021 NFL draft is none other than Oregon stud pass rusher Kayvon Thibodeaux. He, in my eyes, is the number one prospect and should be the undisputed number one overall pick this year. Regardless of what happens the rest of the season or what he does at the combine, what I have seen from him in his 2.5 years at Oregon has just been absolutely stellar. I mean, there is nothing that this guy can't do. He's powerful. He's quick-twitched. I saw a lot of teams try and chip him with a tight end or just even have a one-on-one tight end situation. That is almost a slap in the face to the tight end because he's unblockable when you throw a tight end on him, like most really good pass rushers. And undersized offensive linemen have a really tough time with him. You know, if you get a tackle who's 6'4" and, you know, maybe 220 or 298, he's going to really struggle against Kayvon, and Kayvon has been able to really dominate at the college level with his speed to power. You know, a lot of guys have a lot of speed, but they don't necessarily have the power. Kayvon's got both. Now, he's a much powerful rusher than he is a finesse guy. He doesn't really rely on the spin move a whole lot, but what he does with his bull rush, his stab technique is unbelievable. I don't think I've seen a guy like this since Chase Young, and even before then, somebody that I've been comping him to has been Julius Peppers, just with the elite athleticism. They're very similarly built. I think this guy can have a Jadeveon Clowney type combine. It would not surprise me if he runs 4.55. His athleticism is the best in this draft class in terms of edge rushers, and there's not a whole lot. This guy is a generational talent moving forward. He'll probably put up somewhere near 25 reps on the bench press. And what makes him very special is that when he's not on the field, Oregon's defense takes a hit. Obviously, you know, their best player's off the field, but when he's on the field, their entire defense plays a lot better. Kayvon Thibodeaux is a game-wrecking player. He played everywhere. They put him in coverage. They had him put his hand in the dirt at a V4 technique. I mean, this guy can literally do anything. He's not, you know, a Micah Parsons type player that can play off ball and edge rush, but Kayvon's going to have the same kind of impact that Micah Parsons had this year. One of my favorite games from him, it was the 2020 Pac-12 championship game against USC. He dominated. Now, some of my concerns is that I wouldn't say that he gives up on plays, but there are certainly a difference I can see in certain plays. There will be plays where he gives all out 100% effort. And then there are other plays where I'm not saying that he's just trying, go through the motions, and he knows that he's the number one pick, but it just seems that there are some plays that are lacking. Outside of that, this guy is, bar none, the best player in the draft. I would love to see him go up against Evan Neal, the tackle from Alabama, just to see what could happen, because Evan Neal is arguably the best offensive lineman in this draft, and he'll probably be the first tackle off the board and arguably the first offensive lineman off the board. And I would love to see them go head-to-head, and I'm excited for these two guys. They are going to be – somebody's going to get a good player, and if Detroit is going down the path that they're right now of 0-17, he fits the exact mold of what they want to be. Dan Campbell has been preaching, we're going to be a tough team. We're going to chew kneecaps. We're going to, bite kneecaps, and then we're going to come back up and bite more. And, they went out and got Penei Sewell in the first round last year, I think that 7th overall. So they're trying to build this thing through the trenches, and getting a guy like Kayvon to solidify some edge rush on a team that has almost none. They have not been able to get after the quarterback very effectively. On the inside, they've got a couple of nice pieces, but they just have not been able to get it done. Trey Flowers has been a flop for them. The Aquara brothers haven't really gotten it all together yet. I know Julian is pretty good, but if you put Kayvon in there, then you start to get a lot of attention on that one side. And if they do stick with Trey Flowers moving forward, he's going to have some opportunities to clean up. Now, that doesn't always translate. Like, take a look at the Chicago Bears last season. You get Robert Quinn, and you think, okay, we have Khalil Mack, who's going to attract a lot of attention. Robert Quinn should be putting up a lot of numbers. And then at the end of the year, he only had, I believe, one or two sacks. So I'm excited to see what a team can do with Kayvon. I think he's going to have a Chase Young type of effect on a defense, or a Nick Bosa. He's exciting. And while I did say that the one thing I am concerned about him is maybe his motor, there are plays where I'd watch him and I go, I've never seen this type of athleticism from a player. I mean, I think the Cal game this season in 2021, I think he had 11 pressures on 22 pass rush snaps against a Power 5 Division I school. That is absolutely unheard of. I'd like to go back and take a look if Chase Young had ever done that, but his pressure rate is exceptional. I don't think there's another guy that puts more pressure on a quarterback, even if it isn't in the stat sheet. He dominates literally everybody. He can move him inside, play a little bit of 3 technique, and he's still going to dominate slow guards. There's not an offensive lineman in college football that can block him. Mario Cristobal is one of the best recruiters in the nation, and he's a really great coach. But I think this guy was just destined to be a dominant football player. I mean, especially with the name Kayvon Thibodeaux, that is just intimidating as it gets. And to line up against that guy, a lot of teams are going to have a lot of trouble. You know, if he goes to Detroit, you know, I'm a Packer fan myself. David Bakhtiari is the best tackle in football. He's going to have a handful with Kayvon Thibodeaux, even as a rookie. So, could he be a Julius Peppers? Absolutely. I think this guy has all of the tools to be a all-time great pass rusher. I don't think he's scheme dependent. You can have him as a 3-4 outside linebacker. He can cover a little bit. You know, obviously his specialty is pass rushing, but in the snaps that he did get in pass rush, in pass coverage, he wasn't terrible. You know, he's athletic enough to get the job done. Obviously, he's not going to have the knowledge as a JOK or a really good coverage linebacker like Devondre Campbell. But if you just put him out there, he'll clog up some lanes. But you pin this guy's ear back and let him get after it. He's going to be a premier pass rusher. I think this is a guy that can, year in and year out, get 10-plus sacks. I'm excited. I know I said that if he goes to the Detroit Lions, it'd be a great fit. And as a Packer fan, I'm really hoping that he doesn't, just for my team's sake. You know, if he goes to the Jets, he's going to be the best player on that team. I'm sorry, Zach Wilson. I wasn't a big fan of him coming out. But Kayvon should be the first player in the draft. If he goes to Jacksonville, it doesn't matter. Jacksonville's a place where you go for 4 years and then leave. Same thing with the Jets. So somebody's going to get a good pass rusher at some point in Kayvon. So in all, he's a physically gifted athlete. He's 6'5" with a rare blend of speed and power. He can transition his speed to power very quickly with both his stab technique and bull rush. He can spin move and use a little bit more finesse, but I think he really relies on that power, and he's going to dominate smaller tackles at the next level. Like I said earlier, you can put him in coverage as a kind of like that bandit guy, but obviously that's not his forte. But he can, if you want him to develop a little bit of pass rush, I'm sure he'd be willing to do it. And I think he fits any scheme. 4-3 defensive end, 3-4 outside linebacker. He can do anything. And I'm excited to see where this guy goes. I was excited for guys like Nick Bosa and Chase Young. I think he can be better than both of those players. I think he could even be better than Aaron Donald, and that's a lot. I'm saying a lot there, but I just drool over Kayvon's tape. It's the best guy I've ever put on tape, and boy, I've been doing this for a little bit now, and I've watched a lot of football. This is the best player I think I've seen in years. So there's no doubt that he's going to be the best player wherever he goes. Somebody's going to get a great find, or not even a find. I mean, everybody knows who this guy is. especially going back to high school. I think he was a 5-star recruit. I love this kid. He's going to be great wherever he goes. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Who is your favorite player in the 2021 NFL Draft? Look for more draft coverage from me and some more sports. I know I was pretty consistent there for a couple of weeks and then fell off the earth, but I'm looking to get back into it, so let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys next time.